guys, thanks for coming today. My name is Brooke. I'm one of the facilitators here, and this is Robin. She's also a facilitator. Do you guys just want to go around and introduce yourselves again? Would you like to start?
I'm Sandy.
Ryan.
Kim.
Well,
Thanks for coming today, guys.
So we're just going to quickly go over the agenda. To start, we're going to introduce the group norms, and then we're going to do a quick check-in, talk about the homework from last week, and then we're going to go into relaxation techniques. We're also going to have a guest speaker come in, and we're going to kind of talk about the homework we want you to do for next week.
Okay. I'm just going to go over the rules for group. You guys are all familiar with them, but I'll just go over them quickly. All things talked about in group are to remain confidential. There is to be no unhelpful terms or labels. This is a support group, so we want to work together in positive ways. All members are to be respectful of each other. There will be at least one break in each session. And participants will do their best to attend each session. And if not, or if you're going to be late or anything, just call myself or Robin. You guys have our number. And we're going to call you once a week. We called you last Wednesday just to check in and see how things are going. So that will continue for the next couple of groups. Okay?
Okay, so we're going to move into the check-in. So if everybody can just kind of tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how they're feeling today. 10 being excellent, 1 being you're not having a very good day today. And Sandra, if you want to start.
I feel like I'm 4.
Okay. Ryan.
6.
Kim.
5.
And Bob.
5.
Okay.
Okay, so we did some homework from last week's session. We talked about coping skills, identifying situations where you're feeling uncomfortable or negative in any way with your illness, and addressing ways to cope with that. So does someone want to start and tell us about their issue and then what they use to cope with that? Anybody want to start? Will, how about you?
I don't know. I was depressed. So, I smoked some pot,
Okay. And did that really help you in that situation?
I guess.
Yeah. What did it do for you? Did it calm you down?
Yeah.
Okay. So you really needed something, and that was the choice you made? Okay. We're going to talk more about substance use and your medications later on, but it was nice that you identified the situation that you needed to get out of, and you used a coping strategy for that. So thank you for sharing.
Kim, would you like to go next?
Okay. So last week, I didn't really want to leave my house. It was cold out, and but I remember that we talked about how it's important for me to get out and talk to people. And I looked out my window, and I saw my neighbor out there, and I decided to challenge myself and go and say hi and talk to him. And when I was talking to him, it became really overwhelming for me, and I kept thinking that he thought that I was crazy, and look at the crazy lady who just came out of her house kind of thing. And so I stopped and I took a couple deep breaths, but then I started thinking that he was looking at me funny, and he's thinking I'm crazy again, and so I had to make an excuse to go back inside my house. But for when I was breathing, I felt better.
I'm glad that you could identify that you were feeling anxious and you used a coping skill we had talked about last week. It's good that you were able to do that. And we're going to go more into breathing techniques and relaxation today. So maybe that'll help with more of the anxiety and kind of the feelings of being judged. So thank you, Kim.
Ryan, would you like to talk about the situation that you experienced this week?
I thought I was hearing things, and there was upstairs, and then I wasn't sure, so I called my neighbor who lives upstairs, and she talked to me, and it was her. She was moving the furniture, so I was hearing things, but I wasn't hearing things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you identified a situation where you thought you might have been hearing something, and you wanted to check in with somebody to just kind of confirm and validate how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And is that neighbor someone who supports you often?
Yeah, she's my landlord too, so
Okay.
I live in her basement.
Okay, that's great that you have somebody that you can call. That's really great, Ryan. Thank you for sharing.
And Sandra, what about you?
On the other day, my cat, I think he was mad at me, and he bit me hard on my hand, and I wanted to hurt him, but then I said no, don't hurt him. He didn't mean it, and then I listened to music, and the music helped me, and it took me away from my bad feelings, and then I went and I pet my cat, and he didn't bite me.
I'm glad you were able to kind of work through that scenario in your head and, step away from the situation and use one of the coping skills. That's excellent, Sandy. Thank you.
You guys are doing a really wonderful job of incorporating coping skills that we talked about last week into your daily lives, and it's also a learning experience for everyone else in the group to see what techniques work for people, and maybe you can also try those techniques. So thank you guys for sharing. We are now going to talk about relaxation techniques.
Okay, so we're going to start with a simple breathing exercise. So if everybody could kind of sit back, get comfortable, kind of just loosen up a little bit, and close your eyes. And we're going to get you to take 3 deep breaths, okay? So let's start in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. And one more time, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Perfect. Everybody can open their eyes.
Do you guys want to tell us how you felt about that simple breathing exercise, which can be done anywhere, anytime? If you're feeling stressed or anxious, Will, how'd you feel about that?
It's good.
Good? Think you'll incorporate it into your lifestyle?
Probably.
Great, that's great. Kim, you're familiar with this?
Yeah. I didn't realize how anxious I was feeling before we did it, but like I felt like I was able to breathe because sometimes I breathe too quickly, or I don't even realize that I'm not breathing. I hold it in. So doing that just kind of made me breathe and slow things down. So it felt kind of nice.
And being super anxious, your heart races, right? And you start feeling like you're losing control. And just being able to breathe in and gain that control again is really constructive in situations like that. So that's great.
What about you, Ryan?
Breathing is a lot easier to focus on than the noises and the sounds that I can't tell if I'm hearing or not. And breathing's easier than drinking, because then the walls start to move on me and it gets really, really crazy. So breathing's easier, yeah.
It's great that you can identify, that it's an easier skill for you than maybe some of the other kind of coping skills you've used in the past. That's wonderful, thank you. And Sandy, how'd that feel for you?
When I breathe really deep, it makes me feel like I'm petting my cat, and I like that.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you can kind of, really breathing to petting your cat is an enjoyable activity for you.
Yeah, it makes me feel calm unless the cat wants to bite me, but then maybe I will try breathing.
That's wonderful.
These are all self-soothing techniques, right? So you can have full control over this. And also if you have someone around you, they could do it with you because it's just calming for anybody, really, to do. So that's great, guys. We are going to have a 10-minute break, and then we have a meditation specialist coming in today. I don't know if you guys have tried meditation, but it's a really good form of relaxation. Do you want to discuss the homework for next week?
Yeah, so we've practiced this now in group. So maybe throughout the week, this week you can try incorporating the breathing exercise into your daily life, maybe when you get a kind of a negative symptom, anxiety, hallucinations. Try the breathing technique, and next week we'll come back and talk about again how that helped for you, okay?
Thanks, guys.